We don't often have a chance to experience a day from someone else's view. Today, I'm trading in my kitchen shoes and trying on those of the Spagnolas, a very typical American family with a unique and challenging twist. Lacey is the mom. She's a writer and a caretaker.
Do you want yogurt?
Jim is the dad, an investment banker and the proud father.
Dad, we need to do this.
Lily is the little sis and her big brother's biggest cheerleader and motivator.
Lily, he's beating you. I can't believe it. Now what?
And Jimmy, known as Jimmers. This is the brave little man who is living the twist to the family's story. We're in for a busy day, and I just might learn to dance. We all have a life that's unique, a story, a journey. I'm David Carmine. I'm a chef. But does that define me? What defines you? Come share a day with us and discover what fuels us along the way.
Hey, seriously, what do you want? What do you want for lunch? Remember that?
I met up with the Spagnolas during one of their busy mornings.
He's my motivation every single day, and so is my Lily. They're my heroes.
So he has a very special story, and that's why we're kind of here to discover that with you. So could you tell us a little bit about his story?
He was perfectly healthy, born.
I don't know that we could have been in a more like euphoric state of joy. I'd come home from work, my tie was loosened, and she'd been home with him all day, and we were changing his diaper, and I'll never forget this. We just stared at each other and said, "We're so happy right now," because we wanted to be parents so bad, and we were younger parents.
The 4-month-old checkup, they tell us his head's a little bigger than normal, and his eyes are shaking, and that combination kind of tells us something's wrong. It was kind of shell-shocked us. We're like, why are we going?
Sure.
The doctor comes in and says, go to Children's Neuro-Oncology, let us know what happens. It was one of those things that you just try to think the best possible case scenario, and when you know it's not going to be so good. I still went there. I was like, come on, I gotta think best case scenario. The doctor comes in and says, your son has an optic pathway glioma brain tumor. So they showed us a picture of it. And it is, here's his brain, and here's a giant tumor sitting in the center. We're like, wait, the whole white thing is tumor. And they're like, yeah, the whole, like all of it.
I couldn't even imagine having that news. I can't even. So what do you do next? What's your next step?
It's inoperable based off where it is. Even though it's a grade 1 glioma, it's in different parts of his brain. So you can't even take it out. So the only thing we have to do is let's do some chemotherapy and see if we can get the tumor stabilized.
I mean, it was in such a position that night after diagnosing him, they decided we're starting treatment right away.
Chemo, we did this for 3 months. We were in waiting for 3 months to see what would happen. So every day we got home, we had a dance party. We enjoyed every second we got with them. It didn't just stabilize, it shrunk. I was like, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be good. And I literally printed out a scan of a healthy brain in Jimmers, and I said, this is where it's gonna go from. This is where it's gonna get, this is how we're gonna get to here.
Sure.
And then we did.
The kid's been really, really blessed and has been a soldier through it all, and his personality has always been outgoing and positive.
He's definitely an energetic kid.
Yeah. So, we get our strength from our faith and from him, and from our daughter Lily, and from each other, and from our families.
I've noticed too that Lily seems to be kind of like a motivator for Jimmy. She seems to be like a cheerleader for her big brother.
And that's really come on in the last 2 years. But he would come home from his day of treatment, and she'd have his bed turned down. She'd have his stuffed animals ready. she'd have his iPad ready and his toys and stuff. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
But you could tell she was worried and she wanted to take care of him.
So we get to last year, which was the final chemo of the last round, and they had just installed a bell on Children's 9C4. And you hear of all these bells and everybody ringing the bell, and it was just to signify when we finished another treatment. Well, Jimmy rings the bell, and he's so joyous. He's like, he's just jamming out ringing the bell. Lifts his shirt up, smacks his belly, does this thing. Well, the video ends up going viral, and I think it went viral because of the joy you felt from him and us and watching him be able to do it. And so fast forward a year later, he's in 2nd grade. He's gonna be 8 in May. He's off meds for a whole year. We're hoping to get to 2, because more than likely if we get to 2 years stabilization, it'll stay that way. And if we get Jimmy to stabilize, I mean, he could live like that the rest of his life and be absolutely fine. I didn't want him to feel like a sick kid. I didn't want him to feel like something was wrong with him all the time.
Well, he doesn't act like a sick kid, I can tell
Well,
you.
that's the thing, is everyone's
I
like,
would never know.
well,
Yeah.
thank you for saying that. That when we go in the hospital, I try to take pictures of him happy and dancing and interacting, and so when he goes back to look at this, I want him to realize that he handled it the best way he possibly could. He just kind of flew through it, and it was hard stuff.
Did you see that?
So you're here to talk about food.
So do you have questions or what?
I always have questions about food. I mean, add to our story. You have the general challenges of parenting.
Sure.
Add brain tumor. Add port, which he got at around 3.5. We ended up getting a port. Well, port is, and they won't tell you this, but it kind of messes with your taste buds.
Sure.
Even the chemo can mess with your taste buds. But Jimmy complains sometimes. He goes, I have the taste in my mouth. I have the taste in my mouth. And it's almost like when he gets a saline drip or cleans out the port, he can taste it. So you got to wonder how much that affects his taste buds, what he's eating. So we notice patterns in his food.
He likes a lot of strong tasting, well-seasoned foods. Top 3 foods, it would be a smoked turkey leg, some kind of lunch meat, and his all-time favorite is a chicken nugget, a Chick-fil-A nugget. Again, it's a stronger seasoned nugget.
Stuff with more flavor.
With more flavor, any kind of more flavor. But in also getting him to try new things after we get him to like something is our challenge.
And that could be just because he's a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a challenge in itself.
Veggies are my tough thing.
I don't like veggies.
You do actually. You like them with hummus, which is pretty decent, Jimmer. I mean, I will take it.
More cheese for me.
So
How about no more
let's talk about 3 things that can really help you. Make it fun. Never say this is special.
This is healthy.
This is special. This is healthy. Never say that. Just say, this is the best pizza. You can use a little reverse psychology on them.
Okay.
And just say, this is, only adults are gonna like this.
Yeah.
Only adults. This isn't for kids.
Make them what they can have.
Yeah. This is not for kids. Only adults.
That will work well with Jimmers.
And then the third one is to kind of tempt them by enjoying it in front of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
never offer it to them. Never put down in front of them what they want to eat.
Okay.
And then you yourself enjoy what you're hoping they will eat. And just keep eating that in front of them. And it might take a couple weeks, it might take a couple months, but eventually they're going to want to have to eat what mom's having to eat, what dad's having to eat, any meal. One way you can make it more fun for a kid is get them involved.
Yeah.
Let them help you,
Yeah.
especially dinner time. Make that a family event.
Yeah.
Not just the eating, not just the eating of it is the family event, but also the making of it. Having fun with the family and getting the kids involved and letting them help you cook will change how they approach what they eat.
So the ringing of the bell was amazing. We had no idea the impact it would make. I get this call from my sister-in-law. She's working in the medical field, and she says, Lace, we just had somebody life flighted in. He was in pretty bad shape. And he says to her, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna make sure that I do everything it takes, because if this little boy, this little boy in that video I just saw, if he can do it, I mean, I can do it.
Yeah.
She goes, will you show me that video? What little boy are you talking about? And he pulls up the video, Jimmer, dancing
wow.
and she calls me
That's
bawling.
incredible.
And she's like, what are the chances of that happening? 3 hospitals later, he's fighting for his life, and Jimmer's is giving him hope.
That's special.
It's one of many stories that I heard of why, of how much one little moment of ours can affect others. And that's a big reason why I think it's so important to share our story. Because one story of hope, one thing, that's what you hold on to. In the dark, you look for that sliver of light. Well, you go for as many slivers as you can find.
Sure. That's a very interesting thing about life is one little moment, you have no idea the impact that has as it transcends forward to other lives.
When we were in the hospital, that was one of the darkest moments of my life, just because of what we were facing. You know, you think of the future and everything that you won't have, but then you remember that you're not in the future yet. So whenever we got diagnosed and the doctor was talking to me, like, she got real thoughtful, reflective, and she looked back at Jimmers laying on the hospital bed, and she looked back at us and she goes, you know, there's just a lot of love in that room. And I've been practicing medicine for a long time, and I've seen it all. But sometimes love is more powerful than any medicine.
Well, he has an incredible spirit, and I tell you, coming into today, I didn't know what to expect. What I'm pulling from today is just a bunch of positiveness. There's more positiveness than negative, even though he's facing such an immense challenge to life that I couldn't even comprehend.
He handles it really well.
He's handling it incredibly, from what I can see as just an outsider.
Thank you.
And I'm really excited to continue the day with your family, and it'll be fun to cook with Jimmy, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah. One of the best pieces of advice I can give any home cook, learn techniques rather than recipes. Once you have these techniques down, you can make any recipe out there. Now, I've listened to all of Lacey's concerns, I have my ideas, and I'm going to go inside and grab what I need to help out with tonight's dinner.
Let's go.
You ready?
Yeah.
Jimmy, I heard that you have a very favorite thing to eat. It's a certain company's chicken nuggets, and we're gonna show your mom and your dad and you how to make these particular nuggets. So one thing you can do with anything to be healthier is make it yourself. And there's two reasons for that. One, you know exactly what's going in it, so you're not have to worry about preservatives and chemicals and things like that. Two, if you make things yourself, there's always a chance you're not going to eat as much of it because you're not going to go through making French fries all the time, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to just go to the restaurant and buy them. So this is their big secret. First, it's not a ground chicken product. They actually use a cut of chicken breast, and then they marinate it the southern style in pickle juice. So this is really what gives the flavor to this chicken nugget. So they also have an egg wash and then the seasoned flour, and there's tricks to the seasoned flour. There's specific seasonings they use. They use a seasoning salt in the flour. They use salt in it. Now this is kosher salt. It's a much more salt flavor, and it has bigger crystals of salt. So you're actually using less salt and getting more salt flavor. Black pepper, and then paprika. Of course, you can change up any seasoning you want and kind of come up what works for your family.
Are these all yours?
They are.
How about this?
That's yours.
Yes.
All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a chicken out of the pickle juice, and we're gonna pat it dry, okay?
Why did you stick my finger in
Yep.
Yeah.
there? Ew.
I'll show you.
Then we're gonna put it in the flour, right? And just use a little coat because the flour is gonna help the egg stick.
What, really?
Yeah. And then what you're gonna do
We'll turn like
is
a
put it
black.
back into the flour. And you can do this one more time if you want, but you don't have to. And then from there, place it on the rack. You guys as a family can get the chicken nuggets ready.
Look at you. Good job. Okay, let's get it in there really good.
What are you gonna do?
Mama help you? Okay, grab it and put it on the rack. Easily
Put it in
set
there.
it down. Set it down real nice.
Now what do you do?
Good job. You want to do another one?
Pat it.
Your hands are going to get a little dirty.
Good.
That's okay. Okay,
Now what do you
another
do?
one? Mama's
Pick it up.
going to do one too, okay? Let's
Where's
cut
it
it
go?
off.
Turn it, turn it it around. Turn it. Flip it over. Make sure the whole thing's covered. Good.
Okay.
Egg.
Oh, both sides. Both
Then do
sides,
both
little
sides.
man.
Awesome, dude. Nice job.
Can I do another one?
Absolutely. There you go.
Am I doing good, Mom?
Jimmy, you're doing excellent. I'm so proud of you.
Watch me do that.
One tip when frying at home is to use the healthiest fat that you can, and olive oil is an extremely healthy fat for you. Always get a light olive oil so it has a higher smoke point, and it won't give that olive oil flavor. It's kind of flavorless, and so I always like to use an olive oil to fry it. And so you're frying, but you're using at least the healthier fat.
I
Aren't they good? What do you say? To Chef Dave.
Some in the plate.
like it. Chef Dave.
You're welcome.
Well, I'd like to serve you some spaghetti. I'd like to have some spaghetti. I'd like the lady to have the spaghetti first. Oh, I'd love to have the spaghetti. You're my hero. No? So with the spaghetti, Lacey shared with me that you deal with some heartburn. It's very acidic food, so to alkalize it, you just use a little baking soda. Not too much or you'll taste it, but if you just put a little baking soda into your tomato product, it will cancel that acidity out and you won't have your heartburn.
It's the best spaghetti sauce I've ever had in my life.
Really?
It's really good.
Do you see how simple it is? You can knock that out.
It's really easy.
All right, so you guys have such a hectic day and I've been able to experience this, but yet it's not over.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Tonight we're gonna head to the Pit Dance Marathon annual fashion show where they give all the funds back to Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. So we're gonna go and Jimmy and Lily are gonna be part of the fashion show.
Great.
And they're gonna get their stuff, right? And do some good and give back. It's important to give back.
Well, good luck with everything, and I'm actually excited to see Jimmy do his thing, and I hear Miss Lily will be on stage, so I'm really excited to see you guys. Wow, what an incredible day with an amazing family. Now, maybe they were inspired just a little bit with the food we made together, but I'll tell you what, I'm truly the one inspired. It was amazing.